Make some noise and get hype right now. Let's go. So y'all know why we're here. You know why we're here. So let's get down to business, folks. Vibe Check, the weekly podcast that gives you that awesome, awesome cultural analysis. They are here right now, and we're about to bring them out. So listen, everybody, give it up for Sam Sanders, Zach Stafford, and Saeed Jones. Vibe check, everybody.
Hi, this is so great.
Oh. What did you do?
Wait, we gotta do the thing.
Oh, right, okay. Wow, he got us hyped, okay.
Hello, my ladies, my Charles River cuties.
What?
Oh, the river! Oh, grab
I'm
a
Sam
water.
Sanders.
I'm Saeed Jones.
And I'm Zach Stafford, and you are here for Vibe Check.
Woohoo! Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll move all my...
Wow. Before we begin, I want to say thank you to everyone that had Mexican food before this.
Yeah.
We saw it all over there. It was quite nice.
I hope the tequila...
The margaritas were good,
Yeah.
right?
I hope you're feeling alive,
They were
loose, interested in a Friday night. Yeah.
And to the person who was like, do you want to do tequila shots? As we were walking, okay, later. I was like, damn.
Later.
Like,
Later.
okay.
But that is
Wow,
the vibe.
girl.
That is the vibe. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, I am so excited to finally be here with all of you this week. This is gonna, girl, we're gonna have a night, y'all. We're gonna have a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
Hey, wait,
So ready.
before
So,
we begin, who was here last year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh my God, so these are, some of you, your first time with us. Well,
I love it.
all right.
I love it.
Well, I
This is
hope
incredible.
you signed a waiver.
Yeah,
That's me.
and we're going to be messy enough to deliver because tonight our two main conversations. We're gonna take another listener advice question we've been saving for
From a
just
friend
the
of
right
Zach.
occasion.
Yeah.
About summer shading. Have you heard of this? Okay.
I hadn't
all right.
heard till Zach brought it up.
All right, we got some good
It's
girls in the
bad.
room and some demons. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about dating apps. Basically now increasingly dating apps and fucking apps. We're all adults here now. And if you weren't, you are now. You've been christened. Basically, charging users more and more, basically to pay to date, and it's just happening across the board. So we're gonna get into all of that as we just celebrate our messy summer. I just saw our producer Nora back there. Hi, Nora Ritchie.
Hi, Nora
Hi,
Ritchie.
Nora.
Thanks, Vibe Check happened. Hello.
Nora drove out here
Yes.
with tote bags.
Love.
Yeah. Which, we have tote bags now.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
All those people who were so nice as we signed stickers last year.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging in there with us. But of course, before we get into all the conversations, we got to check in with our girls. Sam, my love, I'm so happy we get to say this in person.
I know.
How are you doing? What's your vibe?
I'm doing so great. The suit I'm wearing right now, for those who have been keeping tabs, this is a suit that was in the bag that I thought I had lost. Y'all, I got it back.
The gas.
I got the bag back.
Prayer works.
Prayer works.
honey.
Prayer works, and Alaska Airlines works harder.
Yeah.
Thanks to them. So I'm glad because I'm wearing my suit. I wear my fun shoes tonight for y'all, so I'm feeling very good. But my vibe this week, especially right now being in Boston, is nostalgia. So WBUR is where I got my start in radio in like 2009. I interned for a show called On Point. And then after that, my first like real adult job on the committee of folks that hired me was Margaret Lowe Smith, who runs this station. So it was.
And
She's
here
here.
tonight. Thank you,
Margaret and
Margaret.
Kinsey, thank you for being here.
Made a good
Yes.
decision.
Also, Also, if you at all like Vibe Check, you need to support this member station. If you aren't members, before you leave tonight, become a member. But yeah, my vibe is nostalgia, not just because of the BUR of it all, but I also was able to have a nice run this morning, and I ran all the way to the Kennedy School at Harvard, where I went and got my master's degree. And I went by Pinocchio's, that pizza spot, and I went by this park and that
You were
park.
like, I recognize his apartment and his apartment.
No, you know what I was doing?
That alleyway and that.
No. I just remembered.
Yes.
I remembered every place in Harvard Yard where I had been drunk before.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, well, drunk and then. But I just spent the morning when I stopped there on my run, and I was running, I was stopping, I was walking, I was looking, I was taking pictures, and I just stopped and said, Sam, you've come a long way. And that felt good. So yeah, a lot of nostalgia. And then my last little note of nostalgia. Listeners to the show, you know, last year around this time, I could not make the Boston show because my mother was dying. And I remember the outpouring of love from Vibe Check listeners here and there and everywhere over the last year. So I want to say thank you to everybody who reached out after I shared that news, after we talked grief on the episode. But I feel, long story short, so many warm feelings in this room and in this city at this time right now. So the vibe is warm and sparkly and fuzzy and happy nostalgia.
Deserved.
Yeah,
Deserving.
yeah, that's my vibe. Yeah. Saeed, what's your vibe?
My vibe is good. It's good to be back. Listen, last year, Zach and I hadn't even left the building before we agreed that we wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was our very first live event. And of course, to be here now all together, it's really, really special. But my vibe is so good. I think I'm going to break some news.
Do it. I know this is. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it.
Boston, what do you feel about having me as a neighbor for a year? That's something you would be into? That is exactly what you want to hear.
Yes, it is. Saeed was like, should I say it? And I was
Yes,
like,
you should
girl,
say it.
if you don't,
Yes, you should
I think
say it.
someone
I'm
would
glad I
fight
said
you in the
yes.
street when you walk down the street. Yeah.
The lovely folks at Harvard Medical School have invited me to be an artist in residence for 1 year. They have a Master of Science degree program in media, health, and medicine, and so I'll be mentoring. In the fall, I'll be teaching a class on memoir writing at Harvard.
Wait, can the audience sneak into your class?
Huh?
Can the audience sneak into your class?
I guess so. I'm not in the admissions department. We'll see what we can do. But no, I'm so excited. They know that this has been going privately in the works since October. And it's just, it's really incredible when you get to the point in your life where you get to experience dreams that you hadn't really considered wanting to take on. I'm a state school boy, a public school kid, and there have been times in my life where I was just like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart, I don't have that kind of pedigree, and I'm proud of everything I've accomplished. But I don't know, it's just really, at a time when so much is going on, that is dispiriting, to have an opportunity, first of all, to teach, but just to be reminded that we still have a few more dreams left in us.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I'm excited.
Saeed has been very open with us about his teaching experience right now. He's doing some coursework at a different school, and you're a teacher who cares about your kids.
I do.
like that.
I do like
you
teaching.
care about your students.
I
You're
genuinely
into
enjoy
you believe
it.
in it. I'm gonna come sneak in a class.
Come hang.
Yeah.
Come hang. And listen, no shade, Boston, but I think y'all need me. I think I think I have some work to do. So I'm so excited. So stay tuned. More on that soon. But Zach, how are you doing? What's your vibe?
So I had one vibe when I walked in today, but it shifted
Okay.
because something has happened that has never happened in the history of Vibe Check. I have the same vibe as Sam, and it's nostalgic. And when you said it, I was like,
Welcome.
damn it.
Welcome.
Why?
It's okay.
And then
You
I
can
was
share
sitting
it.
here
You can
listening
share it.
to Saeed talk, and I was like, what's a synonym for nostalgic? What's a synonym for nostalgic? I was like, what is it? I couldn't land anywhere, so I'm nostalgic. Welcome.
We love it. It's fine.
Yeah, but I'm nostalgic for different reasons. I didn't go to school here, but when I was in college, I would visit here all the time because my childhood best friend lived here, and she still lives here, and she's here today.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
No,
Where are you?
I told her she doesn't have to disclose if she doesn't want to. But what's amazing is I'm going to use a story about us to get us into today's episode. Are you guys ready for this? Okay, so this friend of mine has been my friend since we were 5-ish, and we were
5 years old?
Yeah, since we were 5 years old.
I haven't even been my own friend since I was 5 years old.
It's a long friendship. But when we were in high school, she was my prom date. I wasn't sure.
I want a photo on this screen.
You want a photo?
I want a photo.
Oh, I should have done that. That would have been so funny.
We'll put it on the
Patreon.
The Patreon.
I felt it coming. A disturbance in the force.
So as you would assume, having a best friend for that long, she would be the first person I told I was gay. But I never had like a big coming out moment. We went to Panera Bread one day after school. And
where magic happens.
Magic happens at Panera. And we went to Panera Bread, and we split the cinnamon raisin, or was it?
I don't know why you looking over here like I know.
I don't know. One of those. They have this very famous cinnamon bagel, and we split it. And over the bagel, we were discussing how this man named Daniel at school came back from the summer hot. It was shocking. He was so fine. Out of nowhere. And he was not fine before. Like, noticeably not fine. And then became fine. So she was talking about how she was attracted to him, how he's so handsome. And I was like, I know, I'm attracted to him too. And I kind of came out that way. And she didn't even miss a beat. She just kept, spreading the cream cheese on her bagel. Which was a sign of love, I think.
She was like, I've known you since we were 5.
Yeah, she said 5 years old, girl.
Not a shocker.
So why I tell that story is we then competed, in my mind, to steal his heart.
So what you said?
To steal his heart. I was like, I'm gonna make him mine, and I think she said it as a joke in passing. I took it seriously because I'm me. So
was he in any way?
We didn't know.
Queer-coded?
We
Okay.
didn't
This
know.
was
He
like
was
a
queer-coded.
Challengers prequel.
It was Challenge. Actually, wow, that just changed me.
Were you the Zendaya, or were you one of the other
Trade
boys?
out one biracial for another.
Yes, we are the same. Same. And baby, I look sickening, honey. So we began this dance. We got closer with him. He joined our friend group. Come to find out, he is queer now and like interested.
Did you kiss him?
He was interested in me, so that's what we're gonna get to.
Okay.
So I won. Moral of the story, I won. And he and I talked in the school parking lot one day, and he's like, I'd love to take you to dinner. I'd love to take you on
At
a
Panera.
date. It was not at Panera.
Okay.
It's because, girl, he worked at Starbucks, so he made that good coin for high. I would visit that Starbucks. So he asked me on a date, and because I wasn't really out, the idea of going on said date felt like a really concrete moment.
Oh, you have
coming
told
up.
me about this.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have. Saeed's been one of my
All
oldest
right.
friends, so
All right.
I'm assuming I've told you the story. So he would keep asking me out, and I kept saying, no, maybe later, maybe later, maybe later. I kept putting him on the back burner. I would entertain it, we would text, but we never actually did that big thing, which was very intimate for me, and rightfully so. I lived in Tennessee. I was worried about us being in public. It was valid.
You were edging into seeing if he would be hotter the longer you kept making it.
1,000%, yeah.
Come back next summer.
Withholding is hot sometimes, yeah. But withholding
From a
also...
7 to a 9.
But the thing about
4
withholding
to
that...
6. Yeah.
But the thing I learned about withholding at the ripe age of 18 is that if you withhold for too long, you will lose that man.
Oh.
And prom came around, and as I mentioned, my friend who's here tonight was my prom date. We look sickening. And we go to prom, and after prom, we didn't go to all the other parties people went to. We went to a gay bar because it was 18 plus in Nashville. And I walk into this gay bar, and
sure it
guess
was
who I see is Daniel.
Wow.
Oh, I said his
Was he
name.
fine?
Oh, did I say his name already? Oh, good. Woo, Lord. Oh, my
At
God.
the gay bar moment, was he full 10 at this point?
Oh, full 10.
Okay.
11.
Okay.
11. But I was not an 11 because my heart broke immediately because he was on the dance floor with another man making
You waited
out.
too long.
I waited too long. And the real trauma with this. The real trauma.
I'm
and
sorry
I learned,
to laugh at someone saying
you
trauma,
can laugh.
but-
You can laugh. at this.
Saeed laughing at trauma? What?
Good point. Good point.
And to make the matters worse, the boy he was kissing looked like my twin.
Wait.
There are so many
You know,
levels.
Though, I'm going to say, though, it all worked out perfectly because had you ended up down that path, we maybe wouldn't have had you here.
Listen, and this is not the point of today's conversation, I love thinking about crossroad moments. Moments when you're in your life where you look down two paths and the decision you make will drastically change it.
And you're like, if that dick had curved to the
If
left.
it
my
had
God.
curved to the left. Yes, ma'am. I
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
You put me in front of the
You're not
audience.
sorry.
I never saw it, so I don't know which way it curved, so. You miss out when you withhold, guys. So nothing ever happened. He dated that guy, and we've never spoken since.
Damn.
But it brought me to Vibe Check, so I won, I guess, in the end.
You won.
Yeah.
We'll
You
take
won.
it. A win is a win.
Yeah.
That was a journey.
That was a
Thank you.
journey.
Thank you.
Wow.
So that story was told to you not out of narcissism, but out of teeing up our next conversation, which I'm ready to dive into. Are you girls ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Whew.
Play the music.
Play that music.
Wait, that was there we go. Yeah. Should have done more tech, you know? All right, welcome back. And that's how I do it in the chair at my house. I'm
Really
like,
love
welcome
that.
back. Very NPR voice. So our first topic today is going to be about summer shading and the idea of dating and this new trend we're seeing emerge in the dating world, and what we should be training you guys to understand. So before we get to the real part of this question, or us breaking it down, I want to give some backstory. So a few weeks ago, we were doing the advice episode. We had 2 questions, and this was supposed to be one of them. We never got to there because we just were having too much fun with the other question.
The petty question was so
Yeah.
good.
Petty
we
question.
literally
And it overtook
could
our
not-
lives.
It's overtaken our social media. It's
Literally
just
right
become-
before we came out, someone was messaging me on Instagram like
About
a
the
petty.
petty?
So I was like, I cannot talk about bees.
Listen. Buzz. So how that came up, or this conversation came up, is that as we were prepping for Petty, I was at drinks with an old friend, and I asked him how his dating life is going, and he said, well, it's stopping now because summer's beginning, and I'm deleting my Hinge, and I'm getting back on Grindr. And I was like, what? Explain that to me. And he's like, what's the point of going on dates when everyone's too busy to get serious with you? So I should just go back on the hookup apps and have summer fun.
Okay, let's pause for a second. Raise your hand if this concept is something you're even vaguely familiar with before
Summer
tonight.
shading.
Okay.
one.
all
I had
right.
heard of it. And like,
All right,
to
a
define it.
pro
so,
out
like,
there. Shout
how
out
would
to
you
you.
define summer shading?
Wait, before we
before
define
you-
it, like last year, I brought a TikTok to help us understand. I will warn you, this TikTok doesn't use the phrase summer shading, but it uses something that is a replacement that I love.
Maybe even better.
Yeah, maybe better.
I haven't seen it yet.
So let's play that clip.
Okay, so recently my dating strategy has just been catch and release. We're getting guys, we're throwing them back in the water. There are fish everywhere. That's just how I live my life. And if you don't like dating like that, that's fine. Get off the boat. But if you're on the boat with me, catching and releasing, the advice my mom gave us, my mom is head fisherman on this boat analogy.
I love
She
the follow
said,
through.
You've got to throw a lot of bait
That's
in the water.
expensive.
She said that a few months ago. And then yesterday, I had the epiphany. Why have one fishing line when you could have 2 or 3 or even more than that? But that might get a little crazy. We're still talking about dating here if you're lost, which I am. Catching and releasing, multiple
is
lines
great.
in the water, throwing out a lot of bait. I think that's a fair dating strategy. And if you're
bet
going to
you
hop
do.
in the comments and call me a whore, I don't care.
We don't.
Summer
Like
2023,
her.
we're going
I
fishing.
like her.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
I just hear that TikTok and I'm like, oh my God, that's so expensive.
That-
we're going to get to that trauma for you,
Okay.
Sam.
Ooh.
There's
Catch
a
and
real
release.
reason.
I
Catch
like
and
her
release.
spirit. I
Right?
like that.
And guess what? I love her spirit, but guess how many likes that video has?
How many?
22.
That's all?
How did I find
20
it? 22.
That's it? I thought you were going to say like
She should be a
22,000.
star. Her pacing was good. It was a good script,
I'm
good
gonna
copy.
DM her after this and be like, let me produce you. Bro, this is
22
incredible.
likes and all of them were Sagittariuses.
Yes. So as you see, this is where I want to go with our conversation today about tactics around dating. What's it like not to hold on to one fish and just eat your dinner with that one, but to throw them back and forth, in and out, and to maybe put some in an ice bucket for a while. So
Ooh.
Sam Sanders, define for me what you think summer shading is.
So, and this is the thing, and this is where I kind of have the beef. So, like, catch and release, yeah, go ahead, do it, get out there, have fun. Summer shading is a slightly different meaning
Yeah.
of summer dating. Summer shading says, I've kind of been seeing someone for a little bit.
Yeah.
We didn't get serious, but it's about to be summer, and I want to be out there. So I'm going to casually ghost you or shade you so I can be out there. So catch and release, go for it.
Yeah.
Summer shading, grow up and communicate.
Yes.
Grow up and communicate.
Yes.
So that's my first beef.
Okay.
I think a lot of times we allow a slang term or vernacular like summer shading to take the place of a conversation.
Or technology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what I bet people who are fans of summer shading, what they do is they don't tell the person that they're kind of seeing, I'm about to summer shade you.
Right.
They text their friends and say, girl, I summer shaded him. Then they just ghost whoever.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It definitely
hate
sounds.
that,
I mean,
right?
I truly just can't see someone. You would never say that to someone.
You never say, I'm going to summer shade you now.
Yeah.
Right? You're
but
not gonna
it's
do that.
definitely what I call like group text braggadocio.
Yes.
You're saying it to your friend.
And this is the thing, like, I don't like it if summer shading becomes a way in which we can continue to not communicate effectively with intimate partners.
Yeah. But what if
they're not your
that-
intimate
Yeah, I
partner.
was like,
You
what
were
if they're-
intimate?
Okay,
Well,
just because you have sex, I mean, I guess it does.
Sex
Depends on
is
how you define.
intimacy.
That is fine.
Sex is
My church lady,
intimacy.
that is true.
we all getting free tonight. I'm really like.
Yeah. But no, it's like kind of, I guess let's start there though. Like, how do we define that moment of having hard conversations with someone? Is it the first date? Is it date 2?
Right.
Date 4?
I'll
Like,
tell you
where
how I
do you
do it,
go?
because I'm in it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Sam. Oh, this is, by the way, this was my way of getting Sam to talk about dating tonight, about his own life. So.
And I told them we can talk about this as long as we name no geographic areas, we name no apps, we name no men.
Evergreen.
Yep,
Evergreen.
evergreen.
Yes.
Evergreen.
Evergreen and no details. But I will say this, and I should honestly start sending half of my checks to my therapist, Jonathan, because every time I give you guys good life advice, Jonathan gave it to me. We love Jonathan.
God bless Jonathan.
But when I was getting back into the world of dating after my really hard breakup last year, I was like, Jonathan, I don't know what to expect on these dates. I don't know what to say I'm ready for on these dates. I don't know how to navigate it. Because, like, yeah, I just don't know. And he was like, it's okay to say that you don't know. And so he offered me 2 ways to talk about it early on. If someone on a date is like, Sam, I like this, I want to do X, Y, Z, I'm always allowed to say, I'm just not available for that right now. So that's the first.
Which is true.
It's true.
It's like, okay, yeah.
And the second thing, if you're out on a date and you don't know what to expect or what you want, you're allowed to say, you know, I'm trying to get back out there, but I'm just all over the place right now, and I'm not sure what I want. Saying that is so much nicer than summer fucking shading.
And
I'm sorry.
And crucially, with that second point in particular, because I think people do say, hey, you know, I'm all over the place. But they say that after they've been silent.
There you go.
After it's
I
not
lead with-
After they
ghosted,
get
just
caught.
not and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Things have been so,
No.
you know what I mean? It's very different if you say that in a proactive way.
Before we close that first tab, I'm like, Jonathan says to tell you.
Wait, so do you end every date that way? Because no, not to put you on the spot, sorry.
Not all dates
Let
end
me-
the same
let
way,
me-
Zach.
yeah, no.
Not all dates end the
Sorry.
same way.
Sorry. T.
But no, like I do in my mind make a note to myself to say, all right, how can I leave this interaction
Right.
and be as honest as feels right about what might be next?
Yeah.
I will also say, you know, significantly, like part of the reason it's summer is, you know, people do travel. Hey, getting ready to move in a couple of months. Oh, it's Pride Month. Oh, I'm going da-da-da-da. I also think there's a way to say, you know, and I don't know if I would say it like at the end of like when you're getting the check at dinner or like literally like, you know, the night, you know, after the morning after or whatever, but maybe like the follow-up's like, hey, that was so much fun. Actually got a lot going on this summer. Got a few trips, but I would love to see you when I get back, and only if you mean it. You know what I mean? But like instead of setting someone up when they're like, so hey, there's this great concert next week. You know, if you can preemptively be like, I'm actually going to be kind of, but like maybe like post 4th July.
Totally. And like this helps avoid what I call the Casper effect. When you're the friendly ghost, it's still ghosting.
There are a lot of
Caspers.
friendly
There's a lot of
ghosts.
friendly
Oh, I
ghosts.
love
They'll do the
that.
thing where it's like, at first they text you back a day later, then they text you back a week later, then they just kind of
Wait, can I
And
share
out.
something? Because I know I'm not single.
Are you a Casper?
Oh my God, big Casper energy.
Ooh.
and we'll see you out and be like, oh, it's so good to see you. Lunch tomorrow?
Oh, no.
I know. I have my own. I know that no one believes this, but I have my own toxic traits.
And
No,
listen,
never.
wait.
Not baby girl.
Not baby girl. Sam's been calling me baby girl because I guess
My friends will
You are
text me
baby
and be
girl.
like, all of y'all are cute, but Zach knows how to pose for
She's
photos.
baby girl.
She's baby girl.
She's got it.
So now I call him baby girl.
Sometimes some things you're born with. The other thing about the other thing with Casper's though is like the entire time they're watching all of your Instagram stories.
1,000%.
and liking.
Right?
Yeah,
Watching all your Instagram stories.
Sociopaths.
Yeah. But what I like about this is that when I was dating, a dear friend of mine said to me, who was getting married, and he was 10 years older, he said, at the end of every date, you should have 3 things that you should know immediately. 1, I like you, I want to see you again. 2, I like you, but we would be good friends. Or
That's what I
lastly,
gotta work on.
3, this was a great time, this was wonderful, we don't need to do this again, and release them.
How do you say that?
He said it very directly. He's a very direct man. And he did that for every date for a year. And I think he went on 100 dates.
Oh my, baby, that
And
is,
at
if
the
not a
end-
job, an internship.
It's incredible. I was like, how do you manage this in New York City? And I think you could
That's
only
a
do that in New York.
WBUR
Yeah,
internship.
internship upstairs. and at the end of this this kind of way of being through his love life, he met his now husband.
Wow.
Wow.
And they have the same exact birthday. It's wild.
This is my thing, though. It's like I could never do 100 dates because, like, I'm not going to do like an IHOP date. I want a good meal and I want a few good cocktails, and so increasingly I have to like make sure the guy meets the bar for a first date.
Yeah.
Because I'm going Dutch. No man is going to pay for me.
You
So I'm
really, I always pay. Anyway. it's
Wait,
not
you
about
always
me.
wait. It
It's
is.
not about
But
me.
you pay.
If I don't like you, I'd pay. It's weird, yeah.
So
I
what
don't
do
know
you
why I'm
always
doing all this.
pay?
Yes, and I haven't done this in years. Craig's here. Craig's been around forever.
Girl, you gotta heal.
Craig is here. Craig is
gotta
here.
heal.
Craig is here.
We love Craig.
I'm taking to
here's
calling
my-
Craig Julius because he's our bodyguard.
Yeah, he's our bodyguard.
Be your
He's so
bodyguard.
muscular.
Here's my thing. So 2 things that I do feel are, and I can be honest, because I'm not joking. I'm a Sagittarius. I find men very unimpressive. At best, they're social impediments. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Roadblocks to growth.
Wow.
With dicks attached, like, you know, so like when you're like, have you
How
heard
many
of?
times can we say dick tonight?
Well, let's see. Let's see. So that's what, like, summertime shading. I'm like, baby, I just call that life. But the 2 things that I do feel are important, and I do stay true to this. 1, catch and release. Summertime. All of it, I think, is truly fine. It's your life. And this is also a conversation about consent. And I believe in transparent communication. You should be doing nothing out of obligation, nothing out of guilt. To be clear, you know? But also, listen, let them go, but don't circle back come September.
Well, this is the
Don't have your feelings hurt,
Yes.
you know, or have your feelings hurt,
Yeah.
but acknowledge that that's their right as well.
Well, and what I love about the I'm not available for this right now,
Right.
it leaves the door open kindly.
True.
I can circle back in the fall.
Yeah.
Because I'm available in the fall. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But this is the second thing, and I do think this is important, and I don't see people talk about this enough. I think you need to envision or meditate on the kind of person and the kind of interaction that you would be willing. You would be willing to change your plan.
I'll take it a step further. Jonathan said, write
do
down
like
a
Jonathan.
list of what
Yes.
you want in your partner.
Yes.
Write it down. I still owe him that list. I have some angst about writing it down because what will I write down? Because Jonathan says,
It's
don't
hard.
edit it either.
It's difficult.
Don't edit it. But yeah, write it down.
I love that.
Yeah. Say what you want to yourself. You know?
Could we, we only have a few more minutes for this segment, but in those few minutes, I'd love to turn the tables and hear your thoughts on how do you deal with being summer shaded? How do we navigate that? Because, I'm a Pisces, and while I do it onto others, I cannot take it onto myself. So I was a mess.
Every time you see me post a photo, I think it's the last few months, when I've posted a photo looking a little thotty, I was responding to some kind of something.
Say it.
Wow.
Oh, you don't want me? Instagram does. Fuck you.
Let them know. No, I love that. I love that question. No one belongs to me.
Yeah.
My feelings are mine. They are intensely mine, but they are personally mine. No one belongs to me just because I feel, you know what I mean, that I want them in my life in a way that they may not. And that's not just romantic. And the second thing, though, I would say is, and I've said this many times before, and I know y'all know this, anything less than a hell yes is a no. You know what I mean? If you, basically, particularly when it comes to dating, I think if you have to guess, if you so much have as to wonder, does he, does she, do they, can you read this text? What's the, I think you've already lost the plot.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I feel the exact same way. Yes, clap for that. Someone clap.
It's funny, on this same topic, you know, we were at Pride last week and we saw Kylie. It was very fun, but I parked my car like a mile
I was
and
like,
a half
Kylie
away.
who? Kylie Minogue.
No. I parked my car like a mile and a half away because I didn't want to deal with all the traffic.
You really did
I
park
parked
far
so far.
away. I just to get an understanding of our friendship and how we act outside of the show, I found a valet at a restaurant nearby, and I left my car there, and Sam parked.
I was like, it's Sunday, free street.
Sunday free, it's like free parking. I was like $20.
Anywho, on this idea of like summer shading, like how do you respond? Another thing, if you are summer shaded, what you have to keep in mind and be nice about it. You also don't know what people are going through or what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
You don't know why they shaded you.
That's a good
I was
point.
walking to Pride to meet Zach, and I randomly saw this guy that I had briefly dated like a year and a half ago, and he shaded me. And I was so mad about it. But I saw him walking to Pride with his partner, and they looked so happy together. And I said, I'm glad you didn't call me back. I'm happy for you.
That's a blessing there.
It's a blessing, right? So we also have to
Yeah.
allow grace and kindness to people who are shading us because you don't know their journey or where they're going. And the only hope is that, you know, the next time they're kinder. But some, like this guy, I'm not mad he shaded me. He looked so happy. I saw him like in passing and he didn't say hi because the man was there, but he looked at me. I looked at him and it was like,
Please say
touche, touche.
Respect.
I love that because
Yeah.
you know my therapist Caleb, not Jonathan. Once I went to him with similar issues, and I was really upset I couldn't change the mind of someone else.
Yeah.
And he said, "Zach, let me tell you something. You're not that important."
Woo.
And it hit me in the face. And what he walked me through
Gay
was
therapists
that
will get you
gay
clubbed
therapists will get you
together, won't
together. Really will. And they charge double.
They could.
Deservingly so.
Mine always tells me, oh, Sam, this is nothing. I used to work in an AIDS clinic back in the 80s. And I was like, okay, Jonathan.
Like, I've been in the trenches.
He's been in there. He's been in there.
Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah, go ahead, I cut you
What
off.
was I saying? Oh, well, it's just in these situations where I find myself not able to decipher someone else's motives or lack of communication or whatever, I think to myself, it's probably not about me.
There you
Like,
go.
I'm not that important in their
There you go.
life. We've had such a shallow relationship. So it's fine to catch and release.
And maybe it's so interesting because I do think the main character, which we all, you know, listen, and I think it's a function of probably late capitalism and technology in many ways. But I also wonder if the summertime shading, not the catch and release, which feels direct and equitable, but this kind of, is this narcissistic idea. You think the other person's just going to fall to pieces if you say, actually, you know, I'm kind of
People move on,
like
'cause
I
they're
think that's
probably out
part
there
of it.
too. Yeah.
Like you get it in your head.
very main
that
character
to just
energy.
say it to them like leads to some dramatic, devastating blowout, and you don't want the drama.
Yeah,
those people are
there's
like,
no
I hate
drama.
drama. I'm like, you're probably a real toxic person.
Yeah, well, and also, exactly. Also, and like, just to not to get like on the English language of it all, like, the reason I bristle at phrases like summer shading is because they keep us from being clear and specific. The purpose of language is specificity and connection.
Yes.
That's it. So if the language you're using doesn't specifically connect you with other people, find better language. There's just better language than summer shading.
I love
Anywho.
Amen. Well, with that.
We're so mature.
Yeah, what was that?
We're so mature.
Oh.
Today.
Today. Right now.
Don't go to the after party.
And my brain couldn't.
Within the bubble of these last 3
Yes.
minutes. We got there.
Well, with that, we're going to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Right.
What's funny about that? We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're right here.
You're stuck with us for
We're right here.
a little bit longer.
As you remember, one of my favorite things about, there are so many things I love about WBR in this space, but it is playing out on the street. Like I see someone recording right now.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, we see you.
Turn around and say hi, everybody.
Hey, we hope you're having a
Oh
great
wait,
evening.
he's cute. Someone go out there. I'm not kidding either. Like he actually is.
And
Someone
it's just
should go.
so funny watching, because as like Boston University students, they're like, whoa, what's going on? They're learning things. That's right, honey. Transparent communication.
There we go.
Consent.
Clear and direct. Clear and direct. So as a special treat for this live taping, we're going to expand on segment 1. In segment 2, so this conversation about summer shading and dating and how to communicate with partners or non-partners, it took a whole new meaning for me when I began to Google the word summer shading. The Huffington Post claims that the term itself, summer shading, was actually coined by a dating app called Wingman. A dating app made this word.
Marketing.
Think about that.
Which honestly
Think about
is a
that.
good name for a dating app.
Yeah. And so it just got me thinking, like, this app has a perverse incentive in making a term like that because they want to keep you on the app, trying more and more new people and paying more money to be there for as long as possible. And an app like Wingman just loves that. And so I wanted to talk about that because when we brought this up yesterday or today in the meeting, Saeed, you said something very, very powerful. You said a lot of human interaction these days, and not just dating, it has become, quote, pay to play.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
And we're going to talk
about
more about the apps and everything. Because I was
Yeah.
shocked, for example, when you said that some of these apps, what was it, $24?
Oh, yeah. I'm on every app you can think of. A lot of them now charge by the week. And for some
didn't know
and
that.
sometimes for the weekly, it's like $23.
$23 a week?
And I'm paying for half a dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look good.
We're gonna have to
And I
launch
get
a
the
GoFundMe.
fancy deodorant when I go on a date.
Yeah, and I
Anywho.
was really surprised because I thought
Yeah.
when we were talking about, I thought it was like, $3.99 a month.
No,
or
it's a
something,
lot.
which is
It's a
not
lot.
nothing. But
yeah, but Saeed, you brought up that like
Yeah.
this like pay to play. It's not just dating. It's like a lot of human interaction these days.
Yeah, and again, technology, late capitalism. So it's Pride Month. So let's use this for one example. Something that really landed with me early in the pandemic, during lockdown in particular, was that I was like, oh, wow, so much of my understanding of queer community is location-based. And now, because I'm in my apartment and I can't go to the parties, I can't go to the drag shows, I can't go to the places that I didn't realize how strongly I'd come to associate with, I'm with my people, I'm with my girls, I felt that I was suddenly cut off from what I would say is a good 50% of what in terms of like queer physicality. Does that make sense? You have to pay to be in those places. And, particularly as like 3 cisgender gay men, right? It's summertime. So, are you going to Provincetown, baby? Whose
Fire
house are you
Island.
staying at? Fire Island? Oh, we're going to Mexico City. And my therapist, a gay man of color, would talk about, and this is a certain kind of, this is a class issue I'm aware of, right? But he was like, frankly, it's expensive to be the kind of gay man you are. And he's like, I'm so happy that you've lived long enough to reach this kind of freedom. But yeah, I see you stressing about all the stuff you have to pay for to participate in community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to see if anything.
I was like, because I have a question next. That's just for
Okay.
me. But no, to your point of the economy of being gay, which is how I think of it, is that there is a way in which it forces the queer community, specifically gay cis men, to stratify themselves by being able to travel, do certain things, go to certain bars on certain islands.
Yeah.
We're talking about this while we're right across the water from Provincetown, which is incredibly expensive. No one can afford a house there anymore. We could have when I think of queer utopias, they should be accessible. They should
not.
be feasible for you to get to, but they're
Yeah.
not, and they're getting less and less, and it's all about spending more money.
Yeah. And so I want to talk specifically more about the ways in which dating apps have monetized the act of new human interaction. And there's no better person to pose this kind of question to than Zach Stafford,
Oh my
who
God.
used to run Grindr.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
But before we get into this tea, because I do want y'all to have some lead time, after we have this conversation, we're going to take some questions from y'all.
Oh, yeah.
So in the next time, so there's head to slido.com, SLIDO.com, enter vibe check, and we'll be able to get your questions that way. I wanted to give you some run.
Slido.com.
Slido.com.
Nice questions. And questions end in question marks. Don't do the more of a comment. Don't do the more of a comment. It's a comment.
Or nasty questions as long as they're interesting.
Question mark. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Zach,
Yeah.
you were saying earlier, all of these apps are gamifying interaction and monetizing it. One more about that.
1,000%.
Gamifying.
So
What do you mean by
so some of you may know this. I used to work at Grindr. I was the chief content officer, which did not mean I looked at nudes all day. That meant
But you could, and
but I
that's fine.
could. Actually, we couldn't. Fun fact: Grindr doesn't store your photos. It's on your phone. That's when you delete the app, they go away. They don't reappear. It's because Grindr doesn't have them, sadly.
Probably good.
It's good for security
For the
purposes.
best. It's for the best.
It's for the best. But how I got that job was I thought I was gonna be a Saeed and Sam. Actually, I thought I was gonna go to do my graduate work, and I got into school, and I was studying geolocative technologies and sex. I love that this is happening right now.
Keep going. Keep going.
Love this. Love it.
I'm the auntie who takes pictures
Very
everywhere.
auntie. And post them immediately, too.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed with Grindr and the fact that, like, do y'all know that the technology you're using on these dating apps, this GPS technology, is missiles technology. GPS was used for weapons. Like, this is what it originally was being used for, and then we made it social.
That's dark.
Using Facebook and all this stuff. Yes, it's very dark. And so, of course, with taking all that darkness and doing all this research, and I would use Grindr for my reporting, I got a job at Grindr because why not? Let's get the tech money. And while I was there, I learned really quickly through talking to academics that game theory was the best way to understand dating apps. Swiping is a game, and your brain, releases certain chemicals that make you feel good as you're swiping. And when you do match, it makes a certain sound that they test to make your endorphins jump. That's also why each app has a specific Grindr notification or Scruff notification. And that's all very similar to playing a video game. And while that's really fun for if you're just playing a video game, we're not playing video games. You're dealing with other people, other people's lives. And also what was really wild for me at Grindr was how we designed that UX, that kind of the app landscape, directly connected to how gay men took pictures of themselves. So the torso is a response to the squares that you see on Grindr. So we were making people literally chop their heads off and discombobulate themselves.
Jericho Brown,
What a metaphor.
Jericho Brown has a great poem. I think it's in the New Testament about the torso.
Yeah, it's fascinating how we live in a culture of torsos and the commodification of the torsos and all of that. So, beyond Grindr, we know, and I can't confirm this, but rumor is that apps like Bumble have fake hot accounts for you.
I've had fake people.
Yeah,
talk to me on these
I know
apps.
you
I
have.
swear to you. I swear to you. I'm like, you're too cute to talk that weird. And it's like, you are a bot.
No, they are bots.
You're a bot.
And they use it, and it's a way to make you, when you sign up for the next tier, they populate hotter people.
Well, it worked,
to make you
'cause that
think that
next
money
tier,
correlates to
And to be
attractiveness.
clear, because we should lay this out, because I don't know if everyone. So there was a time period when if you were on Hinge, if you were on Grindr, and you went to your, the nearby feature, basically, you would see everyone in that, radius who was on the app. You were seeing something akin to reality.
Yeah.
Right. And now we've entered a phase where there are two different types of paywalls. One, you might see a limited number. There are 10 queer people who are on this app living on your block, but because you're not paying this money, you only see 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then another manifestation that sometimes it's you only see there's certain types of profiles, whether it's like an algorithm or you're not paying enough to see the most attractive people.
They will tell you on a lot of these apps that if you pay more, you'll be seen by more people.
Yeah.
So they bump you up.
Which is
Wild.
Which is an old practice. Who here's watched the Ashley Madison documentary?
It was really good.
I started it too on the plane.
You were like, it was too much.
It's
I get it.
a lot.
get it.
Prayers up for people. But
The
Ashley,
Frozen couple was really cute.
oh my God. But Ashley Madison is a website that launched in 2001. They pioneered the affair of the .com boom. You could sign up for a profile and find someone who also wanted to have an affair, and their whole thesis was people want to have affairs not to ruin their marriages, but just to have little side quests, and then come back and love their wives more, which
I love that because that's more game language.
it's very
side
game.
quest.
Yes, they would use that language too. And then how they really built this up is women paid nothing, men paid everything, and they gave them credits. And the men in the documentary talk about being addicted to sending these messages, and then when you would run out, your credit card was already on file, so you'd refill it, and that's just like playing a slot machine at the end of the day.
Yeah. We've talked about the apps that we pay for. Every dating app, Tinder, whatever it is, gay, straight, whatever, they want you to pay money and they want you to stay on there as long as possible. But I want to talk about the Instagram of it all, because a lot of times we will think that Instagram is free, but it's not really free. And I'll tell you why I think this. For starters, we are urged to perform for Instagram. So we perform vacation, we perform leisure, we perform
money to do so.
restaurant. So every time we take a really good photo on Maine, we spent money to get the photo. And increasingly, the meet cutes of internet will happen not on the dating apps. It'll happen in the Instagram DMs. You know this. You know this. So in this weird and subtle stealth way, Instagram has become a dating app, and we're paying for it without knowing it. And I want to talk about that because I'm not sure how to feel about it. I love Instagram.
Part of what all of this, what really hits me, the three of us are millennials. And so our relationship to technology feels like kind of once in a century, right? Where we experience the inception of a lot of these forms of technology. And we're also in real time seeing not just degradation, but, it's toxifying, enshittification, to use the term some reporters. And so it's really wild because, again, to use a queer lens, Louisville, Texas, I remember how powerful it felt when I found the chat rooms on gay.com. And in particular, I remember when I found out I was going to Western Kentucky University for college, and I was like, oh my God, how have I found a place more rural than Louisville, Texas? And then I remember I saw Bowling Green, Kentucky had a gay.com chat room. And I was like, okay, so there's something there. Like it wasn't just sex, it was community. There was a sense of infrastructure to support this really important cultural experience. So just to move from that in, that would have been 2004 basically, to 20 years later, and it's like, don't trust it. It's a trap. You're paying for it in ways that you don't even know. It's wild.
Well, and then with Instagram, you pay to get the great photos, but you also are told what to buy.
Yes.
The pants I was wearing at the Mexican restaurant, Instagram told me to buy them.
Baby, those ads have clocked me.
But they look good.
It worked.
Yeah, they do look good.
Thank you.
They do look
Thank
good.
you.
It works sometimes.
Thank
you. True.
Capitalism. Sometimes.
What are your Insta, et cetera, thoughts, Zach?
Oh my God. Well, my big hot take about Instagram is that I'm a Grindr scholar, and I say that as a joke, but also like
He is.
I worked there. I built a lot of the tech there, or helped build a lot of the tech there that now exists, and I'm sorry. The best thing I did do was make it, I want to say illegal, but we banned racism, however we could define it. So if you use a racist term, an ableist term, you were immediately kicked off for a while.
And also, back in the day on Grindr, you could sort by race.
Yes.
Which
I
was
remember
so
that.
freaking
And I took
creepy.
it down. I was like, no, thank you. And then I released an ad called Kinder. Grindr. And it was our users, some of them famous, talking about how horrible the app was for them. And I thought it was really important for me to do because as Black men on these apps, we are treated horribly. And people say the wildest thing, which brings back to the earlier point of kind of how we aren't treated with any dignity on these apps anymore. Whether it's they're forcing us to pay for them all the time, there's all these microtransactions, your body's being chopped up, or you have to edit it to be feeling desirable, or you're being gamified. It's all not personable at all anymore. And Instagram launched after Grindr, and if anyone here has Grindr, if you open up Grindr right now, then open up your Instagram grid, you'll see that they look the same.
A lot of similarity. Yeah.
And that's intentional. That was by design because they follow in the same history of technology.
It feels so, as we talk about like AI and everywhere that scam is trying to take us. I mean, it's so clear that we cannot technologize our way out of human tendency and behavior because humans develop the technology. And I'm trying to, I'll post it on the Patreon, the book, because
Pronounce
it's a book
Patreon, Saeed.
It's a book, it's an anthology of essays about Black queer theory edited by E. Patrick Johnson, but there's an essay about Boys Town. And it points out how the racism and transphobia in Boys Town is directly mirrored in the apps. And so it's like the digital communities mirroring, the underground community.
And that's why we should talk about these things with more fierceness, because why I am so passionate about talking about geolocative apps like Grindr is that they are, when they launched, you suddenly were living a life simultaneously as you're walking down the street. There's a digital you being treated in its own world with its own rules, with its own pains and hurts, as you were also moving through another world. And you have to navigate both of those things at the same time. And we, for years, have taken it very casually. We've been like, oh, it's just online. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But a lot of research shows that, does anyone here play those sim-like games where you get to be like an avatar and live out a life? Well, people...
Kim Kardashian Hollywood. It was a long time ago, but...
Throwback.
I was in there for a minute.
Did you play it?
Saeed in 2014
How much money did she get from you?
I wasn't paying money yet.
Okay.
I wasn't paying money yet. But, I used to...
But what we've learned from that research, and I haven't read the research in years, is that they were studying folks who face forms of violence on these apps, where someone came up and beat them or did various other things I won't get into, not to bring the mood down. But people were showing similar mental... characteristics of someone that was physically going through that.
Wow.
The brain couldn't tell the difference. And they were feeling really depressed. They were feeling really sad. I remember when I was on an AOL chat in high school, when my prom date was my prom date, I would go in the chat rooms and talk to men. And when I got rejected there, it hurt just as much as it hurt when I was in a bar and it happened. So I think what you're trying to push us to, Sam, is that there's a physicalness that's happening on these apps.
Yeah.
And we are facing more and more pain by being kind of stripped by it every day, compartmentalizing ourselves.
I love that, because I want to close this segment with just something a little practical to help us navigate this. I think a lot of times the easiest answer is to say, well, just opt out of these late capitalistic apps and platforms, whatever. You can't opt out. Some of my favorite friendships have developed on social media platforms. I live my work life on these platforms. I'm going to be here. And so for me, I think the question I want to close with for us is given these problems we've laid out with app-based dating, with app-based life, what is one fix or one help or one solve you incorporate in your lives? My thing, and I've mentioned this on the show last week, I've been doing screen time a lot more to monitor my time on the phone. And I did a 1-day Instagram fast last week, just 1 day. And it was magical. I loved it. But do y'all have things that just help you navigate this world?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this, and I'm comfortable, I went through a period, really 2016 to 2018, 2019, where I was really struggling with a lot of the queer elite spaces, the fun places, the places that people were telling me I was so lucky to be in. I was miserable, and it was bringing up a lot of body shame and race. I was the only one, after fighting so long not to be the only one, and so I would drink so much to navigate, and it often meant that I would get mean. And so I think, I was able to, and it took years to find my way out of that particular kind of well, and it came out of therapy and, frankly, conversations with trusted friends about how they felt in those spaces. No one conversation did it, but it was you kind of do need to get out of your own head, because that's the problem. You begin to bully yourself, And so I would say, if that was true in me in terms of navigating these physical spaces that were joyous and gnarly, essential and difficult, that can be true in digital spaces. I think we need to talk, not just bragging about I'm going to do the summer shading, but how do you feel? How's the online dating? Have you had some good experience? With, your group text with your girls, that, I think, is as valid a conversation as how did that date at the coffee shop go last week?
I love that.
I mean,
last words.
What are some things I want to leave you with? Something I know about myself is that if I Instagram something, tonight won't be that case because I love being here, but if I'm Instagramming something live from a place, I'm not having a good time. I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to make it interesting.
Yeah.
And whenever I see myself not only pulling out my phone, because I'll do that if I'm happy because I want a picture with you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if I find myself needing to put it out there,
You're sitting there thinking of a caption.
exactly,
in the
a
middle of that moment.
caption or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
I have to ask myself, and I do this every time, like, what are you trying to run away from right now?
Mm.
Like, what about in this moment do you feel
That part.
uncomfortable with, or
That
you're not
part.
liking, and what can you do instead of posting this photo? And that's why a lot of times on my Instagram, and I said this to you today, I post most things the next day because I sit on it and I look at it and I think, like, do I need to share this? What? Because it's usually another. I have other ambitions in that moment for sharing that aren't things I'm probably that proud of, and I need to deal with that and then post later.
I love
We
that.
also, and I want to hear what you, but also, it's also better for safety. Do not post on social media while you are still at a place.
Oh, yeah.
It's not,
I posted being at the Renaissance movie premiere. Not premiere, but like a screening.
I was like, you're at the
at
premiere?
Grove. I was out of the mirror. I was out of the mirror. But I posted as I was walking in to go see the Renaissance movie, people walking in wearing silver. And I walk out of the movie with Brandon at the Grove, and a really wonderful fan yells across the mall, "I was hoping I'd see you," because she knew I was there.
Right.
And she was lovely. All
That's
of our
a great
fans are
example.
nice and lovely, but
Yeah.
yeah, you got to be careful. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was, that was perfect. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
And it's important because I think that's, again, the millennial, like, we entered the internet and it was all good.
We
It
used to
was
put our
going
phone number and address on
Remember,
Facebook.
it was like,
Remember that?
it's gonna bring
My
democracy.
address was on Facebook.
Wait, remember, who here remembers when you used to be able to search Facebook by someone's phone number?
Hello.
Yeah.
And you were drunk the night before and you're like, who is this person?
Yeah.
And you
Hello.
look it up, you're like, ooh, that's cute.
What
Or,
a
ooh, that's not
mess.
cute.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
I mean,
I miss
I think
them.
we just have to own it. But the internet really was sold to an entire generation of people as this is the best thing ever. It's going to make everything better. And we weren't taught about safety, guardrails, and so that requires like rewiring our relationship. I think you're so right. It's not about wholesale checking out. It's just like
Take a break.
safety in real life,
Yes.
safety online.
Yeah. I think what we're saying to close this segment, and this is a phrase that I think is kind of the answer to everything. The answer here is 2 words: touch grass. Go the fuck
take it.
outside.
I'll take it.
Leave your phone inside.
I'll take it.
And touch grass.
It's fair.
Also, my word of advice is, and I've had to untrain myself, is when you meet someone, you don't need to go online and find out every single thing about them.
Unless they're just too hot to
No,
function.
no.
I'm kidding.
Well, take them out to dinner, take them
Yes.
to coffee, get to know them in real life.
Touch grass with them.
Yes, touch
And
grass
then
with them.
you have, because everyone has one, it's a different group text, your FBI friend do the work for you. Okay.
Yeah, call me. I'll do
Wait,
it.
will you be my FBI friend?
No, I'm not good at it.
Oh, I'm really
But
good at it.
I have some,
I'm
I
really
have
good
some
at it.
consults I
All
can.
right, all right.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to close this segment. Saeed, give the link again for the question.
Oh, yeah, it's, slido.com/vibe check. Just search vibe check.
I'm going to take a
Oh,
few
we got
questions.
a lot of great questions.
Okay, let's get into it. Q&A.
Wait, we have
Is there more music? I don't know.
There's music.
Yes.
Oh, because I did that.
Why don't we have a vibe check dance? Yeah.
You should make it, Sam.
How do we want to decide on this? Well, actually, I'll decide on the first one, and
Yeah.
Zach, you decide on the second one. I'm deciding on the first one because I know Sam will love it.
Okay.
It's a music question.
Give it to me.
Song of the summer.
Oh, I've got
Hard
two,
to go wrong.
I've got
right?
two front
wait.
runners. So I'm not going to give you my personal emo sad girl song on the summer pick, but if you wanted to know, it is a song by Remy Wolf called Alone in Miami. Her power.
That does sound sad.
It's so sad. It's all about
took me- I
her
was like, oh,
being
wait,
at
wait.
Art Basel
Okay.
with the
Ooh,
girl she's
Lord
on and off
Jesus.
again with, and they're sad, but it's a party. Oh, I love it. But that's my jam. But my 2 top contenders for Song of the Summer are, as I said on the show last week, Shabuzi's A Bar Song, Tipsy, because I love how it melds classic hip-hop with country themes to show that even if the powers that be want to segregate country, it was always kind of integrated, so there. But my second pick is this really fun Sabrina Carpenter song called Espresso.
Oh my God.
Can we just say,
What's your favorite line in that?
my favorite line is none of them because the lyrics are stupid.
No, you have to pick one. Pick one. I can
It
start.
took me so long that I'm a singer is a blowjob.
That
I didn't know that.
I'm working late because I'm a singer.
What? That's my favorite
Why
line.
is the singer a joke about that?
I think the next line she literally talks about having her hand wrapped. Okay.
Okay,
Why is the
anywho.
singer working late?
Okay, the single works for me because the lyrics are like nonsensical.
Don't need me. Oh my God.
The lyrics sound like
It's fun.
the lyrics. The words of the lyrics are like if there was a Hot Topic AI song lyric
Yes.
generator. But the musicality of the song works on so many levels. First, think of the chorus when she's like da 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 da. It's you can hear if you listen to those words a little lamb bouncing through a field.
A lamb.
Like the song
Yeah.
itself
It does, it
is
bounces.
skipping.
Yeah.
The song is skipping.
I get it.
Right? And then if you listen to the instrumental track, it sounds a little woozy and hazy. And you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the song itself is in a wading pool.
Mm-hmm.
This song was manufactured in a lab to be summer.
Yes.
I'm
I was
not
about to
trying
say it was very Palm Springs.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm concerned with the actual words at all.
Clearly.
I'm not sure how much I'm concerned with Sabrina Carpenter herself. But this song feels like summer. So, all this to say, my songs of the summer so far, Shabuzi Tipsy and Sabrina fucking Carpenter. Yeah, those two.
Zach, what about you?
Okay, so for me, the obvious first choice for this is Tinashe.
Oh, we're doing two choices?
Yeah, I'm doing
Okay,
two.
okay.
Yes, Tinashe's "Nasty" is
Oh.
the summer song of the summer, Sam. It is.
I just figured that out. I didn't know about the connection.
Oh, it's so good. And that white boy that dances to it, so funny.
He's a Zumba instructor.
He is?
Yes. So
They still
I Googled
teach
him.
Zumba?
Yes. So the reason I know about Tinashe's Nasty, there's this viral video you've seen of this little nerdy Harry Potter looking kid dancing with this woman to like 12 seconds of Nasty in his hips.
When he puts
work.
his little finger in his mouth,
hips work.
you better.
I just
You
realized,
go on, Bob. Whatever his name
I
is.
just
think it's
realized
Zach.
last week that the song in that viral video is Tinashe's Nasty, which means that finally, after all these years,
Tinashe
she might
has
have a hit.
She has a hit.
She might have a hit.
I'm so excited.
God
For my
bless.
favorite indie artist
Justice for
from
2-1.
Pasadena.
Okay, what's your other song?
My other song would be Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. When she said "to the grave," I felt that.
As I texted to Saeed, she writes songs like a 45-year-old divorcee.
Yeah.
She does.
And I love it.
I do
love it.
Slow
not
down, sis.
know what lesbian in WeHo broke her heart, but
Hail to them.
and like really hurt her
That
feelings.
really-
Mine would be I really do like Lunch from the same album. I could eat that girl for lunch. And she's I was like, woo, the lyrics are really fun and upbeat, I guess before all hell breaks loose. But really my song, It's Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
He is doing a live show on June
And I ain't gonna
10th.
be there. Saeed was like, "You're gonna be there?" I said, "No way in hell.
I
There's
was
gonna
disgusted.
be fights."
But here's the gag.
Drake
was like-
fans will show up.
I was like, you are such a weenie. No, they won't. They
will.
But when I was in the green room, I saw a new article from Variety. I mean, because it would likely be, I'm assuming he's going to perform Not Like Us there. It is going to be streaming on Amazon Prime. Yeah. Oh
amazing.
boy, I'm very excited. But I love the song. I hear people playing it in my neighborhood, and it's just, what a culture. I mean, like, pop stars, big music acts pray for a cultural news cycle, the likes of which he generated, and then he topped it off with a really fun song. I mean, it's incredible.
I will say when it gets to the part where everyone just yells "certified pedophile," I can't say it.
It's a little
I don't say it.
too many white kids on TikTok dancing. I'm like, y'all are also not like us, but
And they're like twerking.
are we listening to the same song? If he feels that way about Drake, and frankly, Drake is at least halfway there, how does he feel about you? Anyway.
I just can't imagine to twerking while yelling the word pedophile.
Yeah, it's just,
I can't imagine.
This just
it.
got real dark.
Yeah. Let's pick it back up. New question.
Okay, new question.
Okay, I'm sorry I'm cheating the rules again, but I want to plant a question for you to think about because I don't have the answer.
Is it
but
the
it's really
dating
good.
question?
No, it's not. But
Oh, okay.
No more
maybe it should
dating.
be.
There's a
No.
Saeed dating
There-
question.
oh, that Saeed, I was gonna let you.
Okay, I'll do it.
I would never. Yeah, anyway, consent is sexy, everybody. No, I want to plant the seed of someone asked. I want to hear something that Chantel didn't leave in. No shade
Oh.
to Chantel, but a tasty morsel from the cutting room floor. So think about that. I'm trying to think of
don't
something that
know.
could be that was left that is appropriate
Because we
to share.
don't cut a lot.
We don't cut a lot. But think about it. But the question I want to get to is this really juicy one that I love. And it asks, how have you handled friend breakups in your lives? And what advice do you have for someone experiencing one?
Oh, that's such a good question.
When it's done, it's done. When it's done, it's done.
Do you have a conversation?
I will not tell y'all the whole story because no one needs to hear it. but a friend breakup ended so badly,
I know.
there was a lawyer involved.
Oh, I do remember that.
This was
Oh,
ma-
yeah.
Told me at the afterburner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cutting room floor. I remember.
And
Yeah.
once it got to that point, I was like, okay, we'll never talk again. This person in question, months later, got a new Instagram account and went in and liked all of my photos. And that was their way of being like, I'm back and I'm sorry. And for a second, I was like, you know what? They are sorry. No. When it's done, it's done. When you break, you break. And I think a term I grew up hearing in church that holds for all of life, let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. That's it.
What does Law Roach says? If it's a no forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
He was saying that to like brands that like wouldn't give Zendaya clothes earlier on in the career, and he's like, I still don't want to use you, which I love. Oh, this is devastating. My advice is you really have to understand that a friendship breakup will actually be one of the more devastating. One of the more
drunk.
devastating.
Kidding.
Oh, we're good. Oh, one of the more kind of devastating breakups you go through. We don't have like a pop cultural infrastructure
No playbook.
to celebrate those kinds of breakups the way we do for romantic relationships. And and this is like a good friend that you broke up. They know everything. You know everything. Like it is so much more entwined and much. It's like yay, nay, nay. But that's difficult.
Yeah.
That's difficult. What I will share is, I've been through two just truly painful, and I mean, it took years. I won't lie. It took years. I've always been way more hurt by friendship breakups than romantic breakups. Because men are what? Expendable. No, I'm kidding. That's true. That's true. I'm working on it. I'm still processing. But I had a friend that I was holding on for dear life because we were both Black queer people, and I was just so proud and grateful, to have a Black queer friend that I was so close to. But my therapist, who, and this was when I was in New York, would only speak in questions. He never spoke in declarative sentences.
like that.
In 3 years.
You like that, Sam?
I love that.
Yeah. One day he finally,
yeah.
it was helpful because
The Socratic method.
what he would do, kind of.
Girl, I need therapy, not Socrates.
He would-
Listen, I mean, didn't it all work out for Socrates?
And I can't even. It took some getting used to. He would just repeat the question if I wasn't getting it.
Oh, sign me up.
But I can't even remember. Oh, this is what he said. He was like, finally, because I wasn't getting it. I really wasn't getting it. And he was like, Saeed, this person is only happy being your friend when you are as miserable as he is. And he's happy right now because he's dating someone and things are going great. But you have to understand that as soon as things go wrong, like he's gonna, and it was so, that's why the question was, because suddenly I was like, oh my God, and yeah, I was like, wow, this friend wants me to be miserable. That's what we have in common, and now that things are changing for me, he is getting really negative all of a sudden. So yeah, I just, and that's hard, you know what I mean? And I think we've all, I've talked to Black women who have spoke about being so grateful to finally have a Black woman manager at work, and then realizing it's a trap. Like it's not
all your
oh
skin
gosh,
folk.
yeah,
Not all your skin folk.
that
are
it's
your
not.
kinfolk.
At best it's disappointing, but maybe it's even worse. And sometimes I just find you kind of hold on to that person because you have this idea and. Yeah, so I would just say deep love, truly, to anyone going through a friendship breakup. Treat it like it's serious.
Yeah, you're gonna feel real grief, and the sooner you realize that grief is normal and healthy, and you can begin the healing process of that. And also, we all probably have some friends we need to break up with. So think about that person today.
Well, that's a good point too.
Yeah, because that is when I learned that you could
I got
do that.
two as soon as you said
You
that.
see,
You were like,
the body keeps the score.
And the body always
Listen,
wins.
Yes. So yeah, just do that. Break up with more people, because I've been in situations where I'm like, Craig's here. Craig hears me talk about certain people, and he's like, "That's not your friend." And I'm like, "Yes, they are. We've known each other." He's like, "That's not your friend." And I would be like, "Yeah, that's not my friend."
Also, the older I get, the more I'm like, how many friends do I really need?
Well, you need
Give me
two
7 to
right
8
now.
great ones. 7 to 8 like ride or dies. The rest are acquaintances.
Well, I think like something, and then we'll move on to the next question. Someone once told me that life is like a stage, and that your friends are the people that sit in that theater, and you only have so many front row seats. You have to be really careful who sits in those seats, and sometimes people don't get orchestra center, and they got to be in the back. So I obviously work in theater, so I think about that. I'm like,
I love people in the audience. You can see when they're like, "Oh shit," like the specific sentence.
The light bulb.
Them.
Okay.
You, Sam.
Should I pick a question? Yeah. Okay. How are you processing the work ahead of us with the upcoming presidential election?
Fuck.
It was in there.
God, I didn't.
We have 3 minutes.
Oh shit.
We got 3 minutes.
I'm bracing. I think everyone in this room has collective PTSD from everything happening. During the last election cycle, obviously a pandemic hit and the world was a mess and has never really recovered. And I changed a lot of things in my life then. Like, I no longer worked in media like I did. I was no longer an editor-in-chief. I decided to help my friend produce his musical, A Strange Loop, and that changed my life.
Tony Award winning.
Thank you. Sam, by the way, Sam does that in public at places.
Every time he says it, I say Tony Award.
Someone will be at a party. They're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a producer," and he'll go, "Tony Award winning." And that's a friend, because friends should always be your agent.
Orchestra seating, baby. Orchestra seat.
Yeah, orchestra seat. Actually, you are on stage with me, so that's like real special. Yeah, think of it that way. Start casting your life.
Everything but the question.
Yeah, everything but the question. But
Here's what I'll say. What I'll say.
Go.
Someone just yelled out, "He's so messy."
Yeah.
I heard you.
Hello, my name is Saeed. Accurate. Know her. That's true.
third
That's what
person of
I
it all.
believe is what I was brought here for. What I will say that I'm comfortable and deeply feel about this election is that no matter how you plan on voting, it's your business. And no matter what happens on election day, I feel we have to have more in common than our fear. I feel that so many people, and listen, if you're Republican, I'm not even talking to you, because what the fuck do we have in common at this point? Literally, like, you are on you're living a whole different, stratosphere kind of reality. But for those of us who live in the realm of logic and moral ethos, not as many of us as I thought at some point, but I see so many people trying to communicate with their fear. And I think telling people what you are afraid of is valid in many contexts, but I think in this election, I think you need to say more. And if you really want to advocate for a certain candidate, I think it's important for you to advocate for him in the affirmative. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think I had to learn a lot of lessons after covering election 2016. The first lesson is you're not a better citizen just because you watch the news 25 hours a day.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
T.
We want to be informed. We want to be in the know. But if you are consuming election news and political drama to the point where it's just feeding anxiety, you aren't helping yourself or others. And I think that guides me to the larger point I'm trying to keep in mind as I think about this election cycle and everything else going on. I see a lot of people who I call whirling dervishes of concern. They're so concerned and they're so worried.
Like tornadoes.
And they're worried about everything, and they want to be on the front line for everything, and they want to be there, and they think that if they just do this and do that. But what I always say to those people is, you cannot set yourself on fire to keep other people warm.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And so what I am trying to keep in mind for myself this year, and what I'm telling friends when they want to talk about politics, is you can't make it a 24/7 job.
Okay.
It's not good for you or anyone around you. So a good friend of mine says, all things in moderation, even moderation. You're allowed to exhibit moderation in how you let this stuff take over your life, even though you're very concerned, even though you feel very strongly about these things. You can feel strongly about something and not let it work you into a tizzy.
That is so helpful.
So that's it. You don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. That's it.
And finish my earlier thought.
Sorry.
The eye over there.
Fair.
No, I
Deserved.
loved it. It was perfect to jump in. No, but I would say that the election is a life event. It's a huge event. This one will be one of the most historic ever. And in these moments, your body, as I said earlier, keeps the score, and it will be communicating to you your fears, your hopes, your desires. I remember when Trump was elected the first time, I went to my grocery store and people were crying because they were grieving a future they didn't think was possible anymore.
Yeah.
And I still do believe in hope, and I believe in possibilities. And I think when fear does poke up, you can push back by using it to build a map in your own life of where you want to go and how you can get there. So I think right now, if you are feeling anxious and fear, use that as data, as a way of calling into yourself, and write those things down, meditate on them. For me, it was, I don't want to cover the Trump election because we all have covered it. And I was like, girl, this is not for me.
No
That's
thanks.
for the birds.
One and done.
I would
Never
rather
again.
go to a musical and sing some songs, and I did it. And it
I
worked
literally
out.
moved to LA after the 2016 election.
I quit
said, let's
my
go.
job.
Yeah. See, we all made life choices. So some of you, be ready. You may be quitting something
Sometimes
soon.
you have to realize that there is no amount of financial compensation that is worth the actual work and what you're actually going to
Yeah.
be paying in exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want one more question or we're good? What's the word?
Can we take one more question? Do we have time? Who?
One more?
One more.
just
One
do
more.
one
Real
more.
quick.
What do you
Zach,
want?
wanna do
One
it?
more.
Oh, no, we lost the questions.
Oh, they said it's time to
Oh, wait,
go.
Chantel. We didn't answer that
Oh,
one.
Chantel, what is
Oh.
Chantel
What is something-
not left on the cutting room floor? I will say this, and like just a note of love to Chantel. This is very earnest, not at all funny. When we taped our grief episode last year, I remember there were moments in the taping where like I was a blubbering mess.
Yeah.
She cut it.
Yeah.
It was very sweet.
Yeah.
She has a great ear, and like you only hear us talking about Chantel in the context of a joke.
Yeah.
But she's kind of the glue.
Yeah.
She keeps the show together. We appreciate her.
And to give like some insight to the cutting room floor, like we don't cut a lot. So a lot of what Chantel's doing is she's cutting for clarity. If we're
Crosstalk,
you know, the cross. We love the
repetitiveness.
crosstalk, but sometimes it's too much, or we can't figure out who needs to speak next, or maybe we said something that's not factually accurate, or just we didn't need.
She'll cut me a lot when I'm just being an asshole.
And me.
I'll listen back waiting for that moment to be like,
Yeah.
man, I was a dick right there.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
And definitely me.
It's gone.
It's definitely the two
Yeah,
of us.
she takes out the
Zach.
asshole.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
me, as you hear them say.
Yeah.
Because Zach
Because
is
I'm
baby
what?
girl.
Perfect. Baby girl.
Baby
yes.
girl. Baby
Yeah.
girl.
And I guess to kind of land the plane, you know, what I think is so incredible is that we record these episodes Tuesday afternoons.
Morning for us.
Yeah, but Eastern Standard Time, what we're done usually around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Chantel goes to work. The episode goes live at midnight.
Yeah.
It's very quick.
She works so hard. And so I think, you know, it is such a joy to be here with all of you. But we also have to bow before the efforts of people like Chantel and Nori Ritchie, our executive producer, because they allow us to do all of it.
Well, and also, of course. Well, and also, I remember when I first said, leave it in Chantel, it was also a conscious choice to like name her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Name
bring
the
her
people
into the
involved in
does,
this.
and so many women do
Yes.
invisible labor
Yes.
that never ever
Yes.
celebrate it. And you know, I think when we can, we should name folks, give them their flowers, give them their props, and with producers especially that work like she does, like listening to us twice
Girl.
the same day.
Some weeks listening to us once is enough for me.
Yeah, it's woo. Some weeks I don't even listen to our episode. I was like, girl, that was enough. I did it
We did it.
live, and
It's
I'm
cool.
done now.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we've landed this plane. If I understand correctly, there's going to be what?
We're gonna be outside.
We're going to be outside.
We also, who tried this beer? Did anyone try this beer? Wasn't it great? You probably were like, quinoa,
Is there still
gross.
some outside? I
Yeah,
want
there's still
one.
some outside.
Okay.
You're probably like, quinoa, ugh.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing.
Yeah.
This is by my friend Samara, who's here, I think.
Yay.
So it's talking about speaking up for women. A woman-founded beer brand that's
Love that.
launching now.
Love that.
And she donated a bunch of beer, and it's delicious. And I worked with her some on it, and just as a friend, and I just had to bring it to you all because it's something that's part of my secret life.
Yeah.
I have all these secret jobs, if y'all don't know this, and this is one of my secret jobs.
So, yeah, we will see y'all outside to say hi, take some pictures,
Oh, and the tote
get
bag.
some tote bags and some beer to you.
Which I haven't seen. Have you seen the tote
We
bag?
haven't even seen the tote bags.
I haven't seen them yet.
So
But-
sorry if they're not great.
They're going to be great. They're going to be great. But on that note, one thing I always love to do at the end of a live show is get a selfie with the audience. Will y'all indulge me real quick?
Oh, let's do
Long arm
it.
Oh yeah.
Let's
Do we
go.
need the lights up? Can we get lights up?
Without Gen Z, okay.
Say vibe check. Thank y'all and good night.
Keep it going for Vibe Check. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you to everybody in our virtual audience. So, coming up next at CitySpace, Historically Black Phrases Live, starring Jared Hill and Travell Anderson. Right? Historically Black Phrases is fun. It's amazing, and all the things you need from a national touring game show experience based on the NAACP Image Award winning book, Historically Black Phrases. So, what kind of phrases are we going to hear? I ain't one of your little friends. Make some noise if you know where that's from. Yeah. And this one's one of my favorites. Who all gonna be there? So, and to top it all off, this event is happening on when? Wednesday, June 19th. Say it with me. Thank you, Juneteenth. So, if you want all the latest info and exclusive ticket giveaways for all things happening here at CitySpace, you can sign up for our newsletter or click on this here QR code and add your email. And of course, as you just heard, stick around. Zach, Saeed, and Sam are going to be in the lobby there, hanging out, saying peace to everybody. And yeah, get some of that beer. And once again, give it up for Vibe Check. And perhaps most importantly, give it up for yourselves. Thank you all so much. Good night.